Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Sam and this is a Crafty Blinder van build. Bit late this week, but I've been busy. We've been making a couple of parking places on the front of the house, and I'll be honest with you, it's took us a lot longer than we thought it would. The weather's just been terrible, so we've done that. We've put all weather surface grass on the back, artificial grass, whatever you want to call it. So, a bit tired, a bit wore out, and I'll be honest with you, the videos have suffered a little bit because I've been working night and day, just trying to get this job done before winter comes, and it arrived yesterday. So we've had a lot of rain, a lot of flooding, and it's given me a chance to crack on and get the videos worked on, to be honest. And this video is about when I installed the solar panels on the roof and how I went about doing that. Don't do the final connection. We'll cover that later in the electrical video, but yeah, see what you think. So this here is the fitting for getting the cables from the solar panel back down into the van. That is to be glued on there. So we've got a bolt here. Let's go and check in the van where we need to be. I think we need to be about there. We have this rib here and I'm pretty sure there's a strengthener under that. So we need to just go to the rear of that. So if we're in line with that bolt, I think that would give us enough room, but let's go and check. So as I said, this is the strengthener. You can see here, this is the bolt we were talking about before. If we come to this point here, we should be okay. So there's a bit of sound in then, a bit of insulation. We'll come through that and that'll do us. Let's make a start then. So this is the bolt. We've agreed that the back edge of this should be in line with that bolt. Just need to position it up now. I use masking tape to reduce the amount of cleaning up that I have to do. Past experience, when I use sticker flicks, I manage to get it everywhere. It's a nice little product. Next step, I would advise that you key all the surfaces that you want to stick to. You know, this is high gloss paint, it's shiny, it's been waxed, and you need to remove all that. So give it a good key off with a bit of wet and dry. And don't forget to key the gland box also. It's just as important as doing the paintwork. It's a small surface, so we want the best key on there as possible. Clean off all the dust, and then give it a wipe over with some panel wipe. It's brilliant stuff this. I keep banging on about it, but I would recommend that you keep this in your arsenal, something in your toolbox or in your garage, and it cleans everything. There you go. There's the hole. Gave the paint a couple hours to go off, and then I made some homemade grommet strip. This is a bit of old window trim, a few cuts in it, and I just put it round to protect the cables. I wanted something substantial. I don't want these solar cables shorting. I then applied a bit of sticker flex. If any water does manage to get through the gland box, it'll sit in that area and hopefully evaporate rather than fall through into the van. Set it in place. Press the gland box firmly into position, hold it there for a couple of minutes, and don't do what I was trying to do. I was trying to move it over, but didn't realise it was being pushed back by the grommet strip. In the end I just let it settle where it wanted to settle. Then smooth around the sticker flex. Top tip, wear some gloves when you're smoothing around the sticker flex. It takes ages to get off. And the best of it is, I had about 1,000 gloves sat in the van. I just forgot to put them on. The idea with the masking tape is any excess masking spread straight onto the masking tape, get it off. So we sealed this up yesterday, for 24 hours to go off. It's got a real good grip, it's going nowhere. So what I'm going to do now is simply run a bead round and that'll do it. You don't have to apply a second layer of sticker flex, but I do. I just do it for peace of mind. I don't ever plan on going back up here and doing any repairs to these gland boxes or the max air fans. I just don't want to run the risk of any water getting into my van.
Very happy.
So the second coat just laps over the first coat and runs up the side of the body of the gland box. So in all honesty, no water should ever get in. It's now time to feed the cables in, and you need to give them a little bit of bend at first because you've got to try and hit that hole, and the hole's at the back of the gland box. The cable's held in place with these little stuffing glands. So basically you screw that into the gland box. When you've got the cable through as far as you want, you then tighten up the second part of it, and the second part has a rubber seal inside it, and this is what protects your cable from being crushed, and it also stops any water and holds your cable in place. These should just be finger tight, they don't need to be over tightened. You can actually go too far with them and it separates the rubber seal inside. So we're running the solar cable in, and we're running a feedback from the batteries using Arctic Blue 1.5, good for a few amps, but we're just drilling these tight cable clips back to the bodywork, but it's double skinned and it's taking a little bit more effort than we expected. But to chop out the bottom of this panel, take a little bit of support away from it, but to be honest with you, it doesn't see any action. We're going to utilise this opening here, take two flexible conduits through, like so, and then they will just sit like that, don't fall down that hole, and then that should do it. I intend to mount all my solar controls under my front seat, so this is why the cables are run to here. I'm also going to put in the inverter in this location and my leisure batteries in the box beside. blue cable is actually going to feed my battery charger for when I'm plugged into the mains at home or if I'm out on a site. I eventually pulled the blue cable out and I mounted it underneath the vehicle along with the inverter supply that goes to the fuse board. A bit windy again today, it just seems to not want to go away. But this is a finished article, all nicely sealed around the inlet. We've got the... forgot to take them on. We've got our Y splitters in there. This goes off to the panel that was installed, and we'll bring the next one in. That's the new panel then. The Crafty wire solar like a 12-volt system. Basically, panel one's in the shade, one's still be charging. So it's only been in a day. Look, you can see that. Accumulate some dust, so keep an eye on that, keep them clean, keep them efficient. I wasn't very happy with the idea of gluing my solar panels to the roof, the traditional mounting methods. So I decided to build my own brackets and mount them to the unistrut that's on the roof. I used some mild steel flat bar that I had lying around from another job, and it did the job perfectly. To finish off, I give them several coats with Galvafroid, which is galvanised spray, and I've probably banged on about this as well. Brilliant stuff, and it stops rust dead in its tracks. Once the brackets were dry, it was just a matter of then mounting them to the panels. I used M8 25mm bolts and nylon nuts. I also add a cable clip just to tidy up the loose cables. The off-cutter wood, it's there to stop me marking the roof and scratching the paint. It also acts as a second pair of hands. If you turn it on its side, when the panel gets to the other side, it lifts it high enough to clear the unistrut, and you can just land it nicely on top. Just another point I need to make, and I didn't make this clear at the beginning. When I selected the location from the Gland box, I made sure it was under one of my solar panels to protect it from the elements, the wind, the rain, and to hide all the cabling. I know this is an obvious thing to say, but before you connect your solar panels to these cables, please make sure that the far end of your cables is safe and taken care of, terminated into an isolator or into some other means where nobody can come into contact with it, or it can't come into contact with your vehicle. These solar panels produce some power, and shorting them out will damage them. And you've spent a lot of money on these, you don't want to damage them. Once I've aligned the panels, it's just a matter of securing them down with bolts and zebs as we've done in the past. To finish off the job, I've installed white capping in the unistrut, and it does tidy it right up. With the 2 solar panels installed, that's us one step closer to being off grid. The sun's shining and we're getting free power. There you go, I hope you enjoyed that. Another short little video about just installing solar. I don't go into the detail, it's more the detail of the connection, sorry, it's more just how to get the panels installed and how I installed mine, and the time I take around the entry hole. You know, that sealing that up is very important. Get your cables in, really good, really important. You don't want to ever be going back up there and fixing a leak. We've had one leak already. So if you like what we're doing, click the like button, consider subscribing, but we'll see you back here next week. Thanks for watching.